ways to think about water. 1. Rain falls in the mountains. It's really clean and you and I can drink it.
2. We flush our toilets with the same pristine drinking water. It gets treated and within 12 hours goes right back into Puget Sound.
3. Rain that falls on all our roads, rooftops, and parking lots doesn't have a chance to soak into the ground, so it runs off rapidly, carrying pollution with it.
Would you drink from the curb in front of your house? Salmon do.
There is no new water entering or leaving these systems. Pick any place in the circle, and you can say with accuracy, Puget Sound starts here. Most of the time, our region has plenty of water available. During the summer, however, water consumption doubles, or even triples, because we want to irrigate our lawns, landscaping, golf courses, and parks. Accommodating this peak demand is one of our biggest challenges.
And we're getting better at it. The top line shows our regional population growing by about 11% over the last decade. The bottom line shows our water consumption decreasing by about 24%. So even with the increased population, we are actually consuming less water today than we were 40 years ago.
On a per-person basis, water consumption has shrunk by 1/3, from 150 to 100 gallons a day. 100 gallons per day. There's 5 people in my family. That's 500 gallons per day. In Europe, people live as well as us, but consume only about 33 gallons per day. In Africa, the average is 5 gallons per day.
Cities within our watershed address are collaborating on water conservation through 2 major partnerships. The Saving Water Partnership is a consortium of 18 water utilities implementing the 1% Water Conservation Initiative. Beginning in the year 2000, the consortium set a goal to reduce personal and business water consumption by 1% every year for 10 years. If each person and business in the region could become 10% more efficient in using water over 10 years, it will save approximately 14.5 million gallons of drinking water per day. The partnership estimated that this amount of water would meet the needs of the population growth within King County.
The Cascade Water Alliance is made up of these partners. Water conservation is critical to the Alliance supply management strategy. In 2010, their conservation program saved an estimated 346,000 gallons of water per day, or approximately 1% of the Alliance members' combined average daily demand. Here are a few examples of how this actually happens. In 2010, Cascade Water Alliance provided rebates to homeowners for the installation of 5,518 high-efficiency toilets, bearing the EPA WaterSense label. Cascade Water Alliance gave away 2,389 rebates for high-efficiency clothes washers. A majority of retailers report that they now sell mostly these types of machines, and not the popular brands that are less efficient.
On the commercial side, the heat wave during the summer of 2009 led to higher than expected water bills for many businesses, especially those with major landscape or agricultural irrigation needs. At the same time, the downturn in the economy encouraged many irrigation contractors to pursue retrofitting irrigation systems, since there were fewer opportunities for new installations. These conditions led to an unprecedented interest in irrigation system retrofits in 2010. 23 projects were completed.
Can we do even better? The city of Issaquah is almost finished with the first multi-family, zero-energy, carbon-neutral community in the United States. It's called Z Home, and it uses 40% of the water that a typical home would use.
The typical household uses at least 30% of its water outdoors for irrigation. Z Home's landscaping uses drought-tolerant plants that won't require any watering once they're established. High-efficiency bathroom faucet aerators reduce water use by 20%, saving more than 4,400 gallons annually.
Z Home's high-efficiency shower heads use 1.4 gallons per minute, rather than the 2.5 gallons per minute required by current building codes, saving more than 3,200 gallons annually.
inefficient toilets are the largest water wasters in the average home. Z-Home's dual flush toilets use 31% less water than a standard new toilet.
10 rainwater storage tanks called cisterns store water from the roof of each unit, enough to flush toilets and wash clothes year-round with zero need to draw additional water from the supply system. Once the rain harvesting system is in place, the water is free. The Birchie School, an independent elementary school on Capitol Hill in Seattle, just built a new science wing that is projected to be the first living building 2.0 in Washington state. To become certified as a living building, one of the things you have to prove is that you can use all of your own water on site. All of it. The Birchie School Science Wing has achieved net zero water by harvesting rainwater to supply all of the building's needs, including a treatment system for drinking water. Unfortunately, they can't hook it up yet, because according to state law, it's not yet legal to drink the rain.
In 2010, the Cascadia Green Building Council launched a campaign to accelerate the adoption of best practices, including changes to state regulations for harvesting rainwater. Go to cascadiagreenbuildingcouncil.org and click on Research.
Toward Net Zero Water, Best Management Practices, which describes the integration of closed-loop systems with a focus on rainwater harvesting, graywater reclamation, and on-site wastewater treatment, including composting toilets. Case studies illustrate best-in-class examples of innovative water systems used by actual projects from around the globe.
These tools will make it much easier for busy politicians to understand the issues and opportunities when they write new laws.
King County provides wastewater treatment to 17 cities and 17 local sewer utilities, serving about 1.5 million people, including most urban areas of King County and parts of South Snohomish County and Northeast Pierce County.
The reclaimed water that comes out of our wastewater treatment centers is very clean. Not clean enough for drinking, but good enough for just about everything else.
Rather than sending millions of gallons of cleaned water straight back into Puget Sound, and then waiting for it to evaporate and return as rain or snow in the Cascades, we could be using it for other purposes which would dramatically reduce the need to tap our drinking water supply. For example, reclaimed water is perfect for watering sports fields, parks, and golf courses. Starfire Sports has used reclaimed water from the South Treatment Plant since 1997. In 2010, more than 2.3 million gallons of reclaimed water kept the grass at this field complex green, including the world-class practice field used by the Seattle Sounders.
Reclaimed water is already being used to irrigate some of the food that we eat. From strawberries and artichokes in California to orange juice from Florida, thousands of acres of agriculture have been irrigated with reclaimed water for years.
In many states, certified organic farmers use Class A reclaimed water. Soon, some Mammoth Valley farmers and nurseries will have access to Class A reclaimed water as an alternative irrigation option for the produce and crops grown right here.
This will be a fascinating trend to watch.
Stormwater runoff pollution is a trend that we will want to interrupt and reverse. Sightline Institute, our region's most respected think tank on sustainability, has an excellent position paper on stormwater.
Stormwater runoff doesn't match the traditional image of pollution. There are no factory smokestacks belching waste, no pipes with a steady trickle of noxious industrial effluent. But despite appearances, stormwater packs a wallop. Polluted runoff long ago surpassed industry as the #1 source for petroleum and other toxic chemicals that end up in the Northwest water bodies. Each year, Puget Sound is sullied by 14 million pounds of toxic chemicals and oil and grease, and that's a conservative estimate. The amount of petroleum waste is so vast, it's as if more than 70,000 cars pulled up to the beach and emptied their tanks straight into the Sound each year. The city of Seattle has a drainage system that is 100 years old. Some of the major stormwater lines are connected into sewer lines. When rainfall is heavy and extended, the stormwater backs up our sewage system and raw sewage ends up coming out into our waterways.
These are big challenges and top priorities. Puget Sound is dying from 1,000 cuts. We need 1,000 stormwater pollution solutions. Here's what our cities are doing. Out of 100% of cities surveyed, 64% have a natural yard care program to encourage homeowners to stop using lawn and garden chemicals because some of these chemicals will drain into our waterways. You can have a beautiful yard without these chemicals.
Puget Sound starts here. Out of 100% of cities surveyed, 70% have pet waste education or scoop laws in effect. 1 gram of dog poop the size of a pea contains 23 million fecal coliform bacteria. There are 125,000 dogs just in the city of Seattle. We could safely double that number for our watershed dog population. That's 30,000 pounds of poop per day. Take a plastic bag with you. Scoop it. Puget Sound starts here.
Out of 100% of cities surveyed, 76% have some kind of car washing awareness campaign. Use a car wash, not your driveway. Keep the soap suds out of the storm drain.
Puget Sound starts here. Out of 100% of cities surveyed, 70% are implementing public works projects, such as rain gardens, bioswales, green walls, and green roofs.
Puget Sound starts in a rain garden. 10 bathtubs full of water. That's how much rain pours off one average-sized house during a good-sized drenching. In a typical year, approximately 26,600 gallons of runoff rushes through the gutters and down the downspouts of that one single home, my house. To maintain the stormwater pollution drainage system is very expensive. What if we could slow down the rainwater and infiltrate it on site? We did. It's called a rain garden.
This is a roof. All the rain comes through the downspout. We redirect it into our rain garden. Stake it out. Test for the soil's ability to percolate rainwater. Strip the turf. Dig the pit about 24 inches deep with a wide flat bottom to temporarily pond water during a heavy storm event, which might happen 3 or 4 times a year. Mix in compost for really healthy soil. There are billions of microorganisms in a teaspoon of good soil. The soil food web is crucial to binding up, digesting, and breaking down polluted runoff. Fill the pit about 12 inches. Taper the edges. Select the right plants. Plant them. Plant them with love. Cover the small plants with mulch and take care of your rain garden. Year after 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 year. This is our demonstration rain garden.
Our team builds 5 or 6 of these every year. Stewardship Partners, a nonprofit organization that helps private landowners restore and preserve the natural landscapes, wants to see 12,000 rain gardens in Puget Sound built in the next 5 years. Here's the map so far.
Rain gardens are an extremely effective way to reduce water pollution. They act like native forests, storing, filtering, and releasing clean water to our streams and rivers. And rain gardens are way cheaper than adding more pipes. We know how to do this at a neighborhood scale. The High Point community, situated on 120 acres in the middle of West Seattle, is one big rain garden. It is a master-planned neighborhood with a beautiful mix of homes nestled among parks, playgrounds, community gardens, and services designed to help low-income people in High Point attain self-sufficiency. Programs include Head Start, youth tutoring, English as a second language classes, job training, and adult education. Completely redeveloped by the Seattle Housing Authority in 2001, High Point has been the most successful neighborhood makeover in the city's history. By 2010, High Point was home to over 4,000 people living in a mixed-income community that is one of the most environmentally progressive in the country. At High Point, a series of bioswales handles all of the stormwater runoff on site. Curb cuts direct water from the street towards the bioswales, kind of like long, skinny rain gardens. Pervious concrete lets rain soak right through instead of loading up with pollution and running off into a big pipe. This natural drainage system flows into a beautifully landscaped retention pond. The whole complex improves water quality and protects salmon habitat in nearby Longfellow Creek, like a forest. Or maybe we could just plant lots of trees in our cities. Or maybe keep our urban forest canopy intact in the first place. In 2010, the city of Lake Forest Park completed a multi-year study of the economic value of their greatest ecological asset. By maintaining the forest in Lake Forest Park, the city is a national leader in urban forest carbon sequestration. They measured it. They have the data. So I wonder, what is the stormwater value of those same trees? We could cut down the trees and put in more pipes to solve our stormwater problem the old-fashioned way. Or we could maintain the health of our urban forest canopy and let the trees hold millions of gallons of stormwater right here in our own good soil, in our own watershed for free, forever. How much is that worth? Puget Sound starts here.